Now, with great excitement and honor, I want to introduce our headliner for this event tonight. I promised him no smoke and fog lights and strobe machine and all that kind of stuff. I was hoping to get him parachuting in here, but I got no's on all that, so we're not going to do that. But I want to introduce a man who, after serving 2 terms in the House of Representatives, was elected to Michigan Senate in 2002 and then again re-elected in 2006. He represents the 30th District, which obviously includes Ottawa County, the city of Granville, the village of Sparta in Kent County. He is one of 2 senators that chairs 2 standing committees, both education and judiciary. His complete bio is pages and pages long, and my hand got tired, so I'll let him speak to more of that. I was fortunate enough to meet Senator a few weeks ago right here at the LST, and to be honest with you, I was pretty nervous, right? Just a local guy, I graduated from Fruitport, manager in retail, getting to shake the hands of a senator is kind of a big deal, right? So replaying in my mind was, don't screw this up, don't say anything stupid, don't trip and fall down, don't make a fool of yourself, and things will be all right. And the day that I met him, I couldn't have been more impressed with a down-to-earth, just honest family man that I met. It was fantastic. I feel as it was a blessing that I was able to speak to him what this Muskegon Patriot thing is all about, and I'm honored to introduce him here tonight, Senator Wayne Kuipers.
Well, thank you. It's a real pleasure for me to be here. What he didn't tell you is I was the one that was rolling down the stairs, embarrassing myself. No, that's not completely true. One of the benefits of going last is everything's already been said. And so I may be the keynoter, but I try to make it a practice not to repeat things. So let me just make a couple of statements, and then if you'd like, we can maybe have a dialogue, because I always like to hear what people in the audience are thinking, what they're feeling, what their issues are, and that way I can address specific concerns. But as Leroy said, my first exposure to this great ship was a couple of weeks ago. I knew it was here, but I had never had an opportunity to visit the ship. And I think it's really appropriate for us to have a Constitution Day rally sort of in the shadows of a great ship like that. Don't you think? I mean, think of the history of that ship. There were only just over 1,000 built. There's only 2 left. The 1,000 that were built contained hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men fighting for this country, and in many cases very young men fighting for this country. They weren't out for self-promotion. They weren't out to make a name for themselves. They were out to defend this country and to defend the Constitution that we're here to celebrate today. And I think that's remarkable. And that continues today. We have thousands of our servicemen and women not only stationed here, but stationed in places across the country, defending and preserving the freedoms that we enjoy. And my brother was a military man. My father-in-law was a military man. My father was a military man. There are many days when I wish that was the course that I had taken, because I think the men and women that I meet today who are military people are in a unique fraternity, and that is just an awesome thing in my mind. So before I go on, let me just see a show of hands of how many military people we have here today. Former, current, or former? All right, that's awesome. Let's give them a hand. There's been a lot of talk tonight about what the Constitution says, and this has been an interesting exercise for me as the Muskegon Patriots asked me to come and say a few words. I really wanted to sort of spend some time looking at the history of the document. And one of the things that really stood out to me as I was doing some reading on the document was the day the document was signed by the 39 men. History records it as not just men, but brave men. Okay, you see what was going on in history at the time was very similar to what's going on in our country right now. There was a lot of animosity. There was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of uncertainty because people really didn't know what this government thing was going to be all about. They just didn't know. They had left a country where they were under a form of government that they tried to flee, and they came here. And one of their concerns was that what they left was going to be replicated here. And so when those 39 men signed on the dotted line, history records them as being brave men. And I think that's right, okay? But history records it going a step further. They also knew that the document that they signed, and I want you, when you get home and read your pocket constitutions, just read the preamble. One of the, as Leroy said, I am not chairing the Senate Judiciary Committee. I'm not an attorney by trade, okay? And when I was asked to chair it, I said, yeah, I don't know, I'm not an attorney, I don't feel comfortable doing that. He said, that's exactly why I want you there. Because attorneys sort of talk past each other and they have this funny language, and I know you ask common sense questions, you get to the heart of issues, and so I want you there to bring some order. So but one of the things these attorneys have taught me is that words matter. And the way words are written and the way they're formed in sentences matter. And so I guess I have a unique perspective now. When I read things, I look for the meaning of words and where they are and what they mean. And one of the words that popped out at me in the preamble was the word for. It's in the last sentence of the preamble, the word for. The document that we call the United States Constitution was not a creation of the federal government. It was not a creation of the United States Senate with the House concurring. It was a document for the people of the United States of Michigan, of America. Okay, sorry. My perspective is a little focused right now. We're dealing with budgets, you know. But it was for, it was, the Constitution was created to be a roadmap for this country. It was not a product of government, but it was a product for all of us, for we the people. And I think that's a remarkable statement. I'm quite certain, based on the reading I've done of the Founding Fathers, and I'm going to give you a website when I conclude my remarks, so you can go home and go online and look at this same website, because it gives interesting bios of the 39 men who signed the document, okay? But think of it for a minute. The United States Constitution has a preamble and 7 articles, and that's it. A simple document, was it Fred? As Fred said, could be read in 20 minutes, tops, if you're a slow reader like me. 20 minutes. It's a simple document, and yet it's the document that created the foundation for one of the greatest, most powerful countries the world has ever seen. That's an amazing thing. And it should teach us all a lesson, frankly, okay? We the people are the government, okay? I happen to be serving in the Michigan legislature, elected by a district to serve the entire state of Michigan. Our Congress people are elected from a district to serve the entire country, okay? But they're governed by a very simple document that's easy to understand. There's not a lot of trick statements in there. It says